Hey guys, for today's video, I am doing some more sketchbook practice and I'm drawing portraits again. I know that can be kind of boring for some people, but I honestly could draw these every day. I do draw them every day. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video is some practices that are making it a little bit easier for me to draw portraits. I'm using colored pencil lead and a mechanical pencil. I will have the link for that down in the description below. And this is just a Van Arto sketchbook. It is not my favorite sketchbook. I'll be right up front with you on that. I think printer paper would be better. Honestly, because this paper isn't my favorite, I am using it way more because I'm not worried about wasting it. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that's something I kind of struggle with, is feeling like I'm wasting my art supplies. So as I mentioned before, I've been drawing every day. And when I say that, I don't mean that you have to sit here and draw every day, 3 to 4 hours every day. Nobody has time for that. I don't have time for that. I take 2 or 3 portraits off of Pinterest and I draw them. And depending on how much time I want to spend on each drawing, it could take anywhere from 10-20 minutes up to an hour per portrait. I've been heavily working on my rendering, so that takes me a little bit more time. But for the most time, I'm able to just sit down and get the basics down, like basic proportion and line work done in about 10-20 minutes per portrait. For this portrait, basically, I was putting down my line work, my proportions, getting my basic little sketch down. And the other day, I realized that this lead actually blends very beautifully, and I love how well it blends. And I knew that I wanted to work on my rendering. I feel like sometimes when I put my sketch down, I don't want to mess it up by adding any color or rendering because I feel like I'm not at a place where I want to be just yet. So that's what I've been working on. And another thing that I've been trying to do is like really soften up where I need, oh, here you can see, there's like a little bit of a fiber in the paper. This is why I hate this paper. Like my pencil just kept catching on it so bad. And I've tried using a regular pencil, like just a regular graphite pencil or a regular Prismacolor. And it doesn't catch on the paper as much as this sharp little half or 0.5 mechanical lead. But it doesn't get the saturation there either. Like for some reason, I'm not able to get the darks as dark as I know they can be. Like I've used this stuff for years, the colored pencil and the graphite. The last video I did a graphite and I wasn't able to get it as dark as I should have been. So that is one drawback to this paper. However, like I said, I'm really trying to develop my rendering style, and it's not so much about finding a style as much as it is I'm trying to find a system that works for me. And so what I found is I put down my basic line sketches and then smudge the hell out of it. I smudge it and I get it all blended out and softened, and I'm trying to get a quick tone of color everywhere. And for me, that kind of works better. Like the paper is white and your natural instinct is to get it as dark as you can get it. Well, mine is anyway. Like when I'm drawing, the contrast between, the darkness of the colored pencil and the whiteness of the paper is it's just distracting. So I get a healthy little mid-tone in there, and that kind of like tells me where I need to put darker colors and where I need to keep things light. Like your highlights are naturally going to be kept light. I never leave room for highlights, but you're supposed to leave room for highlights. When I'm blending, it kind of blends a little bit too big and I have to come back and erase the highlights. You're not able to do that with all the leads, as I'm sure most of you know. Basically, I smudge the hell out of it and then I come back on with another pass of detail and erasing out some highlights. And I just keep rinsing and repeating that process until it looks mostly how I want it to look. This second portrait, this is my favorite out of all 3 of them. It was the quickest for me to put down, and it's blue, which I love blue. And And I just felt like I really was warmed up and loosened up, and I kind of had a more of a general idea of the direction that I wanted the sketchbook page to go. Another thing about this reference or this portrait is the reference photo that I used was it was very easy for me to see where all the shadows were and the highlights were. They were already mapped out. So as I was drawing, I didn't really have to think about how can I make this more readable as or as a portrait. And once I got the lines down, the basic sketch down, I knew that I wanted to come in with my blending stump and kind of use my blending stump as a way to put down color quickly and kind of like find where I wanted the shadows to sit. Like I wanted to softly be able to put down the shadows and kind of like carve it and sculpt it out of that color, if that makes any sense at all. I did a lot of that stuff digitally. Like when I'm doing digitally, I would softly add, a pass of where I want the shadows to sit. And I decided to kind of use my blending stump to do it since I am working traditionally on pencil and paper. When I'm sketching this out, I'm basically just taking my time mapping out where everything is going to go. And I learned this from Chris Hong. She has a lot of helpful videos on quickly mapping out where you want your shadows to sit. And that's going to be the hardest part. It takes the longest time. And after you get the initial sketch work down and getting all the shadows and highlights mapped out, then it really is like coloring a coloring page. It's already, all the hard work is already done. You're just having fun with the color after that. The biggest things that I was trying to work on is not pushing too hard with my pencil. And normally I'm trying to do that anyway, but with this paper specifically, it really does not like it when you're pushing hard on with the lead. So that was a real challenge for me. As you can see here, I'm bringing in that blending stump, and I like the softer blending like everywhere, but the thing with blending with the blending stump is you can't just leave it like that. You can't just leave it all super softened out and fuzzy like that. The magic really comes in when you come back up on top of that with the eraser, pulling out cleaning it up, because you're going to have to clean up where it may have smudged over into a lighter area. And then also cleaning up, like bringing the highlights back out. And as you can see here, I'm going back on with another pass of detail and really putting those crisp lines in where they needed to be. And you just have to remember to take your time. I notice that whenever I rush through these portraits, you can tell, and I don't like the quality. And also, if you feel like it doesn't look good, just keep going. I can't tell you how many times it happens every single time. Pretty much every single drawing that I do, I get to a point where I'm like, I think I screwed this up, and I kind of want to like restart or maybe just stop drawing for the day. Just keep going. Like if you already think it looks like crap, just keep going. I promise you, you will learn so much more by, fixing it than just abandoning it. You know what I'm saying? So with my mechanical pencil, I was basically trying to use the lightest hand that I could to slowly bring up those values and shadows and shading. I'm trying my best to do like tiny little circles so that there's a nice, even, slow gradient. But there are some times where I really, really do like the look of pencil strokes. So I will try to leave those in, but like sparingly. I don't want it everywhere, just like I don't want it to be hyper blended out everywhere. This third portrait, this portrait gave me so many troubles because I decided to go with the pink lead. And the pink lead, while I love it, it just wasn't really picking up on camera that well. And also it was really hard to see. So about midway through, when I started realizing that I wasn't going to be able to get the shadows as dark as what they needed to be, because that was really messing with me. Like with the purple and the blue, I was able to get some really nice darks, but with this pink, I was not able to do that. And I was trying to keep it all if each sketch was one color. So I kind of like made that rule for myself to just stick to one color, but I started realizing that I needed to bring in another color because I was fighting with it so much and stressing about it so much. It was just supposed to be fun. So I brought in this red, and the red didn't get as dark as what I wanted it to get, but it was way better than the pink. I just, at this point, I was tired of it, and I probably will never use this color or this pencil and paper combination again. It was just way too much of a fight. If I'm going to do anything with with that paper, my Faber-Castells actually work beautifully on it. The only thing with the Prismacolors is it's such a soft lead that it's kind of hard for me to sketch with. The Faber-Castells stay at a point a lot longer. All in all, even with fighting with my supplies a little bit, I did have fun with this sketchbook spread, and it turned out pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you did, it would mean so much to me if you would hit that like and subscribe button. I try to make videos every single week. I'm doing my best to learn portrait studies and passing the tips on to you guys. So I'll see you next week. Bye!